Okay, so I wouldn't take it long. I will try to make it short. So I believe there are a lot of changes nowadays in our market. New technologies arrive, new ways to deploy video conferencing are here, so we have to adapt as well. So there are some things I think you have to understand well. The first thing is connected to what Hubert told during the first presentation. It is the thing that everything is going to be a software. Even traditional legacy MCUs are now deployed on virtual machines as a software. It was a software before, but now it is looks like software, not a different DSP-based hardware. And the good thing about software, you can try it. If you don't like it, you can uninstall it. It's fast. It can be scaled in any way you want, because it's still a software. You add more licenses, and that's it. And of course, I think the best example of the software is a technology called SVC, Scalable Video Coding, which makes things like MCU with transcoding obsolete, because they realize the same process without transcoding, without CPU load, which is really important to understand. It saves a lot of money for video conferencing infrastructure. This is a new way. On the market, what we see right now is a struggle between vendors, manufacturers who are following the legacy way with MCU, and new vendors like Microsoft Link, like Video with Y from the States, like TrueConf, for example, which follow the SVC way. And this struggle becomes more harder every day. You will see it. Another thing you have to know about is called WebRTC. It's a buzzword. Everybody talk about it for 1 year, but it's pretty basic thing. What WebRTC do, it allows some browsers, just some, to have real-time communications without plugins. Before, what we had before? ActiveX for Internet Explorer, only suitable for Microsoft Windows operating system. So this is not the option nowadays when a lot of people have MacBooks, or some government organizations heavily rely on Linux or Ubuntu. So ActiveX is not an option. NP API, it was an alternative to ActiveX technology for Firefox. It was cross-browser. It was suitable for Opera, for Firefox, for Safari, but it still required different realization for different operating systems. So one NPAP plugin for Windows will not work, let's say, on MacBook. So it was difficult to develop such a plugin. The most popular, most spread is Flash. Everybody used web conferencing solutions based on Flash, or streaming solutions when you connect to remote conferences, see what's going on using Flash. It's very popular. However, Flash some drawbacks. First of all, it's not really suitable for real-time communications. It's okay for streaming. It's very good for YouTube. This is streaming, but for real-time communications, it lacks good support for echo cancelling. Echo cancelling in Flash is okay for one-on-one communication, but for multi-point conference, it's not good. It is proprietary, so you can affect it, so you can check it. It's developed by Adobe, and Adobe decides what to do. And it is still a plugin, so when you buy a new PC, you have to install the Flash player to access those things. And of course, as any plugins, it brings some delays, because it's actually a Flash virtual machine which executes your code. So this is just additional layer. This is not the basic thing for browser. So 1 year ago, the new technology arrived called WebRTC, Web Real-Time Communications. It was something started for engine called, I forget the name. Anyway, so it was initially designed for Google Chrome, and it is developed by Google Chrome team. It is now supported by Firefox and all browsers which are based on Google Chrome. It is a Chromium for Linux. It is Opera. New Opera is also Chrome-based. There are many local browsers in every country which are based on this engine. So a lot of endpoints, mobile endpoints and desktop endpoints now support this WebRTC standard. So what does it mean? It allows to capture audio from your microphone and to capture video from your camera without any plugins, using HTML5, code and JavaScript. That's pretty easy for web developers. And it sends it to the server, just it. So it's grab the video and audio and sends to the server. However, you don't have to do anything. You just open the link, open the page, and it's working. Before, if you remember, any web conferencing required installation of some plugins. Some popular tools like WebEx, like GoToMeeting, they never relied on plugins. They have developed different client applications for different operating systems. So when you install GoToMeeting for Windows, it is downloaded. Here is a WebEx as a Windows client application. For macOS, it's a different application. It's started from a link, but it's some process. So every remote participant has to go through this process to install the client application for web conferencing. So right now, this is obsolete. You can use WebRTC. It's absolutely the same. This is how it looks in our solution. So basically, it just captures the video, sent to the server, and receives one video stream back and displays it. So this WebRTC standard cannot handle multi-point conferences. It is intended to play one stream and send back one stream. That's it. So if you want to see something like this, the server has to mix the picture. And mixing, as we know, is something from 20th century. It is something obsolete and old. It requires a transcoding. So WebRTC is not really applicable for service providers because they will need a really expensive infrastructure for running WebRTC. But for small companies and for demonstration purposes, it's fine. For one-on-one communication, it's also fine. So I have collected here some pros and cons, good things and bad things about WebRTC. I have mentioned some of them. So good thing, it's really popular. So a lot of devices can instantly be used as an endpoint for video conferencing using WebRTC. Approximately, from latest data, it's 60% of all desktops on Earth is ready for WebRTC. That's a lot. And there is a trend, there are more and more of them. Another good thing is that based on the standard, everything is encrypted. So all communications are established in a secure way using SSL or TLS algorithm, and then all the data is encrypted. The bad thing is that WebRTC uses random different ports on your network equipment. That means, for example, WebRTC selects dynamically ports for communication from the range of 32,000 different UDP ports. So to make WebRTC to work, you have to open your firewall. This is not everybody can do in an enterprise. There is a way to fix it if you place a WebRTC server outside, or if you use a TCP as a transport to tunnel UDP traffic into the TCP. It can be done for enterprises. And another good thing, it's based on very good video codecs. VP8, it is also called WebM. It is a default video codec for HTML5. This is the default codec for WebRTC as well. And Opus, the good thing about Opus, it is not just wideband. It's actually a set of couple different algorithms. Opus uses low bandwidth during bad communications, and Opus can switch to wideband HD audio when the channel is good. So Opus is also, let's say, the scalable audio codec. It's very good. We also use Opus this for the same reason. And the bad thing, it is not suitable for large deployments because it requires transcoding. It is only if you need multi-point, you need a server. If you try to make multi-point without server in a peer-to-peer way, usually it's a pretty bad experience. It works fine in local area networks, but via internet, this peer-to-peer approach is not good. So if you need WebRTC multi-point conferences, you need a server. And another interesting thing that for most users, it's easier on mobile devices to open Google Play or open App Store and install a native application for video conferencing, unified communications, whatever you need, instead of clicking on links. People really love native applications. So WebRTC is mostly for desktops. on mobiles, there is a habit to use native apps. Another thing is BYOD, bring your own device. There are some deviations with different name for this trend, but basically what it means. It can be applied to audio conferencing. It can be applied for your voice IP communications in the enterprise. It can be applied for video conferencing. It means that your system administrator asks you to install the client application on your device. For example, if I get hired, I can use my phone with a SIP phone used by company. It can be Polycom endpoint, mobile endpoint, can be Siemens mobile endpoint, whatever. I connect it to the enterprise communication, unified communication system using my device. It can be my home PC, it can be my work laptop. Whenever I am, I can install application for my operating system and connect to my company communications cloud or on-premise deployment. So the most important thing about BYOD, it really make bold, really make popular using of mobile devices for unified communications. Nowadays, almost all tablets and smartphones are capable of video conferencing, even multi-point conferencing. Yeah, resolutions are still low. Yeah, mobile devices can't encode very good stream in a HD quality because encoding is a very difficult process. However, there are more and more mobile devices with built-in additional processors for media, which can encode streams in parallel to main processor, so that makes better opportunities for video conferencing on mobile devices. For example, I use it almost every day. You can connect the Bluetooth headset and be on a conference. That's easy. And this is really this is a thing changing the whole market. If we look on this data, we see that based on the result of 2012 year, a lot of employees uses desktops. So workstation is a desktop, so where you sit. Conferencing room is where you gather together when you schedule a conference, and personal device. So more than so people use personal devices and desktops for video conferencing more than conferencing room. That's why guys from Logitech are so happy, because everybody needs a web camera, everybody needs a speakerphone, etc. And mobile carriers is also happy because enabling mobile devices require data plans, more gigabytes, higher speed, so it's driving whole the industry. Another very illustrative data is that desktop video conferencing becomes more popular dramatically since 2010. Before 2010, there was no really popular software video conferencing solutions. Most of them was legacy, hardware-based. But after 2010, with a Core 2 Duo and i series of Intel processors, the video conference, software video conferencing market starts to develop really fast. And based on last year results, the situation changed dramatically. So almost half of video conferencing sessions happen. It's a growth. I mean, it's a growth by 45% compared to previous years. So the fourth thing is interoperability or interop. This is a problem you will face. Before we have, let's say, many in video conferencing we will have Polycom, Cisco, Lifesize, Radvision, Avaya, many other Huawei, ZTE, many manufacturers. Most of them are using free-to-free protocol to communicate with some extensions, and most of the times those extensions are not compatible. Video, audio, content are fine. Statuses, text messaging, scheduling, not compatible a lot of times. So. Right now, what we see is that many companies in favor instead of free-to-free, start to using SIP, video conferencing, because SIP is a default and very popular protocol for voice IP devices, for your DECT phones, for corporate phones. It's almost the base protocol for all IP-based audio communications through the world. So what we see now is that even Cisco new endpoints, which were released a couple of months ago on Enterprise Connect, they don't support free-to-free. They're just supporting only SIP protocol. Desktop endpoints, room endpoints still support free-to-free, but it is a trend. So people rely heavily on SIP. Why? Why they have to rely on SIP? Because free-to-free is quite complicated to connect all different manufacturers together. That's why SIP is a more simple protocol, is a more spread protocol, is used by default. And you have to understand that before, we mostly communicate within our office or office of our partners. But now we see that we are using our unified communication tools to communicate with our friends, with our colleagues, with our partners, with some other peers. So we communicate with a lot of different people, that means a lot of different systems. And to make all these communications more simple and reliable, we are using SIP as a glue to connect different systems together. Another important thing, which is called consumerization, I don't know how to call it in other words, but it's pretty simple, and you feel it every day. This is like a standard video conferencing endpoint remote control. If you ever used it, you know what a pain it is to trying to push all those buttons. It's a lot of mistakes, so it's really difficult. There is no keyboard. So it's many manufacturers still do this, but many of them are right now providing touch panels to control video conferencing endpoints. It's a better way. So this is a consumerization, when instead of very unuseful remote controls and very bad-looking applications, you have nice-looking applications and very easy to use, nice user interface suitable for fingers. So instead of remote control, you make touches. Instead of ugly interfaces, you now have very pretty and nice interfaces. So everybody are familiar with Skype. Everybody loves Skype because it looks nice and works nice. So the same nice experience business users expect from business applications. So business applications also have to be nice to user. They should look good and work using touch interface, etc. So this is a consumerization. And the last thing is cloud. So today, 3 people talk to me, and everybody asked about the cloud. So cloud is extremely popular, especially in Europe. It's very easy to deploy cloud solutions. So everybody knows why it is so good. So basically, you don't need to worry about infrastructure. You only have to deploy client applications or connect your devices to the cloud somehow. And you don't have to provide reliability. You don't have to provide redundancy. You only have to pay some monthly fee. That's it. And cloud also shows a very big growth. So this is a business deployment. This is not personal use. Of course, we use Gmail, we use Skype, we use a lot of cloud things for personal, as persons. But for business tasks, clouds become more and more popular. However, when it's very hard to find the right balance, because it's not secure. You don't control the channels. It's a public internet. Nobody can control public internet. You can encrypt it, but it's also not an option because you never know what happens after within cloud server. All we know this Snowden thing, like NSA thing in America, they are spying on us. etc. So if you're really concerned about security, maybe the cloud is not an option, or it will cost you the same money to make a secured cloud instead of making on-premises installation. So, however, it's very comfortable and easy to use. So you have to find a balance for you. For example, I used Gmail for many years, and after some crashes and sometimes it just doesn't work, I decided to switch back to Thunderbird, local mail server, because it's just, I feel safe. So, it's a personal decision of IT guy in your company, where to go. And of course, this cloud thing is a very disturbing for resellers, because companies in the middle, value-added resellers, distributors, they don't know how to deal with cloud offers from manufacturers, because usually cloud is sold directly. You you follow a link, you pay, you enter your credit card details. That's it. You don't need a reseller. So some vendors are dealing with this. For example, Polycom, they don't provide cloud services directly. They provide technology for distributors, and they create services based on their technology. Some vendors are working on some markets, and their resellers working on another market. So it's another business question which is really important, and it is connected with cloud technologies. So if we collect all these concepts together, I really want you to be wise when you will decide to deploy video conferencing or unified communications systems, or you will decide to scale it. So you have to know that from nowadays unified communication solutions, you have to expect the next things. It should be available everywhere, on every device, based on every channel. It should work on different communications means, on Wi-Fi, on mobile internet, via Ethernet. It should support devices of your employees. It should be really scalable. For example, there are some vendors who provides things called burst. For example, you have a license for 100 connections, and sometimes you can extend it to up to 200 for free. So vendors are trying to optimize, providing you more flexibility. So those things have to be nice to user. You don't need to invest into teaching of user how to use unified communications. They have to use it like their personal device with a good user interface. And all these things shouldn't decrease the quality of solution. You still need to receive the same quality like on the hardware endpoints. And it's possible. That's it. I'd like to add a couple of slides about what we do. So we're an international company with almost 100 employees, and what we do is two products. One product is called TrueConf server. It is designed for local networks. It doesn't require internet connection to operate. So it handles all your needs for unified communications. And the second product is almost the same, but it's called online. It is a cloud solution. All those two of these products are compatible with a wide variety of client applications. So all our client applications are compatible with both products, on premises and cloud. So pretty simple. So our goal is to enable desktops and mobiles with video conferencing. That's it. Usually most companies already have video conferencing for rooms. So we are helping them to scale to desktops. Thank you. Any questions?
Do you provide a SIP compatibility, or which protocol are you based on?
We are based on own TCP-based proprietary protocol. However, we use SIP to interop with other systems, video, audio, content, whatever. if we talk about TrueConf, we have we support, in addition to SIP, some other protocols, like I said, WebRTC. So all these gateways are built-in, included. No need to buy anything separately. Yeah, the server acts as a SIP registrar. So you can register your DEC phones, your gatekeepers, like Polycom endpoints on it, life size. Like we have registered life size endpoint on our booth. So you see the status online, offline. You can call it, invite into multiple conferences, or vice versa, invite TrueConf client applications on MCU conferences, whatever. Okay, so you can ask a question in Polish if you want, and I think Hubert will translate.
Can I get another question?
Sure.
Do you have a list of the certified devices for audio and for video that you support, like without any problem?
We don't have such a list. We had it before when we recommended to use free to free, but with SIP, most of the times it works out of the box. If something will not work, it usually requires for us up to 2 weeks to get log files and fix it. For most popular endpoints from legacy manufacturers, there is no compatibility problems. We are testing them with every release. Okay, thank you very much. Good.